Are you wondering what some of the best products for paper crafters are on Amazon? Hi, I'm Jess from JessCrafts.com and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's take a look. Today, because it is the first of the Amazon Prime days, I wanted to share some of my favorite products from Amazon. These are not necessarily products that are going to be part of the Amazon Prime Day deals, but they are high quality products, so I think this video will be helpful all throughout the year. And then on a sale day or, those Amazon Prime days, those Black Friday days, maybe you'll find a deal on one of these higher ticket items. But honestly, a lot of craft items are pretty low ticket and you might just find a thing or two that you'd like to add to cart as you get a great deal. So the first thing I want to share is one of those higher ticket items, and it's a printer. Now this is obviously not a printer. I cannot get my printer all the way up here and on camera for you, but I do like my Epson EcoTank 8500 for printing my own die cut images. It saves me a lot of money versus buying individual die cuts, and it lets me highly customize things. So I can look at a website like Creative Fabrica, and I will leave you a link to Creative Fabrica because they do have lots and lots of clip art. I can make them whatever size or how many ever of them I want and make my own embellishments. Another high ticket craft item that I think is really helpful to a wide variety of paper crafters, and you should look at on those like high sale days, would be a Cricut. I currently have a Cricut Explorer 3. I'm very happy with it. It does a lot of useful things for me, but I'm not like a big Cricut crafter. Yeah, I would look to somebody like Jennifer Maker for great tutorials for your Cricut. Let's take a look at some of the lower ticket items that I use on a regular basis that are great to add to an order. So I use these project folders. They have binder holes in them, so I could store them in binders. They have a convenient Velcro topper so things don't really fall out of them, and they are sized such that I can put a printable inside. Particularly this is important to me because I make and use paper busting templates, which is a card sketch and a template. It tells you exactly how to cut your pattern paper and assemble a card with no scraps, and you can get over 100 different versions of these templates, 100 different ways to cut paper and make cards with no scraps at jesscrafts.com. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to check those out. And then so I like to put all of my working pieces in these project folders, and they hold quite a bit. I could put whole stamp sets or die sets in them, or just the little paper pieces. My swing line guillotine trimmer is a great price for a high quality trimmer. My first trimmer I had for a very long time until something that shouldn't have been cut was, and it did leave a nick in the blade, but other than that, it worked beautifully. And so I did go ahead and replace it with another swing line because they are only about like $35, and for me, that is a pretty good price for a paper trimmer who I never need to sharpen the blades. Next up, my Accent Opaque cardstock. This is 100-pound cardstock. I get 200 sheets for about $15. Primarily, I use this for card bases. I'm not saying it's great at ink blending or Copic coloring, but if you just like to make a lot of card bases and you need something inexpensive, this is about as cheap as I have found good bright white cardstock. I buy my blending brushes on Amazon. There are a lot of craft companies that sell them, but as far as I can tell, they're all pretty similar. I have been able to find a rainbow of colors on Amazon. I know sometimes it's tempting to go to the craft companies because they have like all the beautiful colors, but I was able to find what I need. But I don't do a huge amount of ink blending. If you're an ink blending junkie, maybe you want the fancier brushes and all the different sizes. And then I also have an ink cleansing pad. So it's just a silicone tool, and it just is really effective at getting into those bristles and cleaning them. It's meant for makeup brushes, but it works great for craft brushes. I have a whole video about how I clean my brushes, which to be honest, I don't do very often because I don't find that you need to, but I have all the tips for what you do when you're ready to clean. Another cleaning product for you, it is these Swedish dishcloths. I've been happier with them than something like, say, the Gina K Tidy Towel or the Lawn Fawn similar sort of cleaning cloth. They are a bit more absorbent, but they also are still really good at cleaning up your stamps. So I can wipe down stamps and things like that with them, but I can also sop up a big sort of watery, inky mess. I find that they just tend to clean a little better, hold up a little better, and they're biodegradable. I don't know about the Tidy Towel, but you know, eventually these will disintegrate over time. They are like basically a temporarily reusable paper towel. The next product I wanted to mention, just because I don't have a lot of success with generics. I don't like generic ATG refills, but this Craft First generic replacement plate for my Gemini Junior has been pretty successful, as I have found it difficult to find the official Gemini Junior plates. I like this as a good substitute. I have a lot of organization products that I like to use from Amazon. One is the job ticket holders. It holds my 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and it holds the scraps. This is important to me because if I'm buying more expensive cardstock, I definitely want to hold on to those scraps, and I also want to be very scrap focused. I don't like just putting all of my red cardstock together. I like knowing that if I pull a scrap out of this, it is going to exactly match the next full-size sheet so that I am using the same exact cardstock across a project. The job ticket holders, I use a variety of plastic zip top bags from Amazon to hold my stamps and dies. A lot of people like to use stamp pockets. They don't work for me for two main reasons. One, I like to store my stamps in a drawer, an Alex drawer from IKEA, and the stamp pockets do not fit in them, but these plastic bags do. And I will list which size bag I use for each kind of stamp in the video description, so I can save you time here. But the other main reason is the backer sheets don't always fit in the stamp pockets, and I really like to keep my backer sheets. I find that that makes it, for me, faster to find things. Another sort of storage product I wanted to mention were these tabbed dividers from Amazon Basics. I like these because they are wide enough that the tab stands out past a page protector. This is why I wanted to specifically highlight them, because a lot of the ones that you would pick up at your office store don't necessarily do that. And so if you like to take all of your printables and put them in page protectors because you use them time and time again, you're going to want a bigger tab or a bigger, whole divider with a tab. I also like the pocket in the front so that if I'm not ready to add the paper into my system yet, I just want to accumulate a few, I can keep them in there with their category. Now, if you see all of these, you saw before I mentioned my paper busting templates, and this is what I mean, like over 100, plenty and plenty of paper busting templates. Be sure that after you've treated yourself to a few items on Amazon, you also get some free stuff at jesscrafts.com. I purchased my Tim Holtz mini ink trays all on Amazon. You can get them in many places, but they have been the solid best solution I have found for ink cubes, especially for the price. And you can have like little small sets of them. I have seen like these bigger units, but I like being able to just pull a small little set of them out of my drawers. This next one I've also recommended several times, and it is a sliding marker bag. It acts like a pencil cup on your desk as you're working on a project. But if you've picked all of your markers or pencils for a project and you want to keep them to keep coloring that project later, or to color more than one of the same thing, like you've picked all the colors for, this flower you're going to color, but you're going to color a few, you can keep them all in this marker bag, slide it up, and it is easy to just toss into your to-go bag or just to keep together somewhere in your craft room. A couple other people have manufactured these, and I've even gotten handmade ones on Etsy. You can find tutorials to make your own, but these are relatively inexpensive and have held up over the years. That was a fun product I found for the first time this year. These are mini casters, so like the little rolling feet on the bottom of your office chair. And you might think, what are you doing with these in the craft room? I think there's actually a variety of uses, but the main thing I do is I put my heavy machines on casters. So this is my Gemini Junior, and I can slide it around my desk. Some people have asked why I don't use the Lazy Susan method, because I did briefly talk about this, and a lot of people put them on a Lazy Susan, and then you can turn them in a circle. However, I like to be able to move the entire machine in any direction, because these are pretty heavy machines, whether we're talking about your Cricut, your scan and cut, your die cutting machine, and it doesn't work for all of them, but it does work well for the Gemini Junior. Now, you do need to think about your manufacturer's, warranties and stuff, and whether you might be violating them in any way, but I'm not too concerned with that because you are attaching these directly to the machine. If you did the Lazy Susan method, you wouldn't be, so maybe that's a better fit. On the topic of spinning things, I did recently pick up this pencil cup holder that spins and has several compartments. I liked it because it had a big area for me to customize, so I could put something I cut out with vinyl from my Cricut on it. So that is something that I added. It's just a plain pencil holder. As you can see, it stores quite a bit of stuff. I used to have like a collection of mugs that took up a lot of room and didn't actually store very many things. And so I wanted something that was just a bit more efficient. And yes, I have a scissor problem. Do you see the 4 cutter bees in there? Background change. I have a couple things that are in my studio for filming YouTube videos that I'm going to link and very, very quickly mention. I know not all card makers care about this, but if you're just wondering a little bit about my equipment, I have purchased a fair amount of it on Amazon. The background is a photo board. And so again, you don't need a YouTube channel if you just like to take photos for your Instagram. I found these ones on Amazon. I've been very happy with them, and they're relatively inexpensive compared to similar products. They're about 24 by 24, so 2 feet by 2 feet, and therefore give me a really nice surface. But I don't use them as much as I thought I might because I finally found an excellent light box. I have tried several light boxes over the years and was not happy with them, but I did finally find one that I love and gives me really good consistent results so that I don't have to worry about natural light. Is it daytime outside when I want to take pictures of my cards? So I am going to link that in the video description, because if you are struggling with light and you just really want to take better pictures of your cards, this has been a game changer for me. A couple other things I will link are the big lights, big studio lights that I use in my craft room because I've had them for a few years now and they've been holding up. I've had my Yeti microphone for at least 5 years. I think it's been longer than that. This is as old as my YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure, and it's been working great. I've also purchased some like little add-ons to kind of like pop filters and that kind of thing, but very happy with that mic. Still, my Bose headphones. This was a splurge for me. This is not the kind of thing I normally buy. I'm always like, oh, who cares? But nice quality headphones are really nice to have, especially when you like to listen to music or videos while you're crafting, because you can, have the headphones on and you can still hear it as you move around the craft room because they are wireless. Also, because they hook up to my phone, if my phone rings while I'm like watching a video, I can still hear it through the noise canceling, which has been a tiny but really awesome little perk. And you could probably get that with a lot of wireless headphones. I kind of just generally recommend it, but these are really high quality. And if we're checking big ticket items, well, go ahead and give it a shot. This section's a little bit of a bonus section, but I think it's relevant to quite a few card makers, especially if you like to stitch on your cards. So people who like to stitch on their cards are doing usually something similar to cross stitch or embroider, and they are probably using DMC floss. You might like the DMC stranded color card. This to me was a bit of a treat, splurge. I do cross stitch like on fabric, not so much on cards yet, although I do have all the dies for it. But I like being able to see what the colors look like in person. These are the actual strands of floss. This is not just a printed color card. It is the physical floss. And so you can really see what colors you're using. If you're trying to order floss online, this can be quite helpful because you really know how it compares to other floss. Or if you're following a pattern and it calls for a very specific color, you can see if you have something pretty similar in your collection. And it does even have some of the specialty flosses inside. Speaking of specialty flosses, I have found a particular set of specialty flosses really fun to work with, and that is the Etoile. It is a sparkly kind of floss. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I saw these originally at like the big box craft store like Michael's, and they were $3 a skein, which means, one of these little sets is $3, like this little bundle. But when I was able to order this tin of them on Amazon, so I get 35 of them in a single tin, and as you can see, I've actually pulled 2 of them out. There was a black and a darker blue, but you're gonna get a really extensive range of sparkly colored floss, and we do love our sparkle here in the crafting world, for about $1 a skein instead of $3 a skein. So to me, that was a pretty significant savings. And so when I had one of those treat yourself moments, I got my full set syndrome satisfied while saving a bunch. I know I didn't share a lot of big ticket items to get great savings on, as that is kind of the thing with Amazon Prime Day, but I hope I have suggested a fun small item that could make your craft room more joyful or fun to work in. I mean, come on, who doesn't want a bunch of glittery floss? Or, I mean, look how pretty. I mean, paper towels, but gorgeous. And so maybe also you've seen a big ticket item, like you go and you check out that printer and it's on a great sale, and that would be fantastic as well, because there are a couple of those bigger ticket items for crafters. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video.